is Tuesday, April 20. Welcome to CGN News. Veteran Jamaican journalist Michael Sharpe has died. He was 65. According to the Guyana, Sharpe, who had been hospitalized for some weeks, passed away this morning. Sharpe was reportedly recovering when his family last provided updates to the public in March. Michael Sharpe joined the RJR newsroom in 1983 and at the time of his passing was the operations manager at Jamaican News Network, a member of the RJR Guyana group. A case of highly contagious Brazil variant of COVID-19 has been reported in Trinidad and Tobago. The case was disclosed by the country's Minister of Health in a news release on Monday. It says contact tracing to restrict spread of the variant has started. Jamaica has already implemented a ban on travel from Brazil and some of its neighbors. Jamaica is also still awaiting the results of samples sent overseas for testing for COVID-19 variants. The Caribbean Catastrophic Risk Insurance Facility, the CCRIF, will be paying out $2.2 million for relief and recovery efforts following the eruption of the La Soufriere volcano in St. Vincent. The volcano first erupted on April 9, forcing the evacuation of more than 16,000 people. The CCRIF, owned, operated and registered in the Caribbean, says this assistance will provide much-needed liquidity to St. Vincent. Chief Executive Officer Isaac Anthony says this support is possible because CCRIF has a commitment to support members in times of crises. Anthony said the CCRIF negotiates the best prices for reinsurance for the betterment of the peoples of the Caribbean and Central America in keeping with Agenda 2030. Caribbean tourism interests in North America are saddened by the news that their colleague Andre Wade, 59, lost his son Kyle in a plane crash in the Bahamas on Friday. Kyle, who was 20, had just received his pilot license, the Guyana reported, and his father suffered life-threatening injuries and has since been airlifted to a hospital in Florida where his condition is described as stable but serious. Authorities in the Bahamas said the small plane took off from the Bimini International Airport on Friday night, heading for Opa-locka in Florida. It crashed at sea in shallow waters near the end of the runway. The Aircraft Accident Investigation Authority in the Bahamas is investigating the crash. Guyana has received 83,000 doses of the Russian-manufactured Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine. The shipment arrived at the Chedejagan International Airport Monday morning. The government bought some 200,000 doses of the vaccine to the tune of $4 billion. The government has since widened eligibility requirement for the vaccination and now allows for persons 18 years and older to get immunized. Guyana commenced its vaccination exercise in February, and more than 70,000 persons have received the first of 2 doses. Overseas now, Canada has announced a new pathway to permanent residence for over 90,000 essential workers, including Caribbean nationals who are contributing to the country's development. The initiative will grant special status to temporary workers and graduates who are already contributing to the growth of Canada's economy. Minister of Immigration Marco Medicino said eligible candidates must have worked in Canada for at least 1 year, either in the health sector or another essential profession. According to the High Commission of Canada to Guyana and Suriname, some 1 million people residing in Canada are of Caribbean descent. U.S. Congresswoman Maxine Waters is under fire after urging protesters to get more confrontational if a not guilty verdict comes in the George Floyd case. At a protest in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Waters told protesters to, quote, stay on the streets, end quote, if ex-officer Derek Chauvin is acquitted in the case. The trial judge said the Democrats' comments were abhorrent. Republicans called for a censure of Waters, but Democrats said she had no reason to apologize. On Monday, she insisted that she was nonviolent and said Republicans were seizing on her remarks to send a message to all of the white supremacists, the KKK. Expert advisors to the United Nations on human rights concerns on Monday slammed a government-commissioned report that concluded there was no systematic racism in Britain. The working group of experts on people of African descent says it was stunned that the report repackages racist stereotypes into fact and urged the British government to reject its findings. The Commission on Race and Ethnic Disparities, set up by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson after last year's Black Lives Matter protests, published its report on racism last month. Its conclusions that Britain is not, quote, institutionally racist, end quote, or rigged against minorities have been widely vilified, with some critics even arguing that the report downplayed the country's historic role in slavery. President of Chad, Idriss Deby, has died of injuries suffered on the front line in the country's north, where he had gone to visit soldiers battling rebels, an army spokesman said on Tuesday. Deby, 68, breathed his last defending the sovereign nation on the battlefield, the official said in a statement read out on state television. The army said Deby had been commanding his army at the weekend as it battled against rebels who had launched a major incursion into the north of the country on election day. The army said a military council led by the late president's 37-year-old son would replace him. The shock announcement came a day after Deby, who came to power in a rebellion in 1990, won a sixth term as per provisional results released on Monday. And finally, the Australian government has been criticized for an education campaign designed to teach students about consent and sexual assault. The online program uses metaphors such as eating tacos and smearing milkshake on someone's face to depict disrespect and abuse. The section titled Sex and Gender Norms suggests that ideas such as males enjoy sex more than females and females who wear short skirts want sex are examples of gender norms. The website says the learning material helps students develop healthy and respectful relationships, but activists say the content is harmful and does not reflect realistic situations or relationships. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.